I pivoted my career from healthcare to biotech in 2020, and since then I've increased my salary by over $100,000. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I would do in 2025 if I wanted to break into the biotech industry. We're going to call this series Breaking into Biotech, and if you haven't already seen my first video, make sure you go and check that out. I'm Dr. Liz, by the way. Pleasure to meet you. I've been creating content for about 4 years, talking about the life science industries such as pharma, biotech, and clinical research. So if you're interested in any of those things, as well as lifestyle as a 29-year-old living in Raleigh, go ahead and follow along. In part 1, we left off at number 3, so we're coming hot with number 4, researching and studying the industry. Now, if you've taken steps 1 through 3, then you should have a pretty good high-level understanding of the types of roles that you may want to target, at least understanding the functional areas that they fall into, whether that's medical affairs, regulatory, quality, etc. This is going to be the time where you're really buckling down and taking the time to understand the industry. You are coming from a background where you don't have an advanced degree or you don't have any specialized training or knowledge in the drug development process, clinical trials phases, biostatistics, or if you've looked through those job descriptions and you feel like you found positions that are a match, but there are words, phrases, or acronyms that you don't understand, that is the time to start looking those up and figuring out what they are. That's kind of like your study guide for the interviews. They're going to expect that you know what those things are. What better way is there to show how serious you are about your career than to be proactive? Which brings us to step 5, obtaining relevant certifications and micro-credentials. At the minimum, I'd recommend obtaining a GCP, the clinical practice certification. There are lots of online resources to obtain this free. I will drop one in the comments below. I talked about this many times in some of my previous videos. FDA has a free CE portal where you can obtain CE credits, and a lot of them are targeted towards specific functional areas. So it's a great way to kill 2 birds with 1 stone if you're someone who has to have CE credits by the end of the year if you're a healthcare professional. I also used to be the director of the Regulatory Affairs Training Program at Duke University. I can attest that that is a really great program. Used to be offered twice a year, but they are moving to a self-guided course in 2025, so look out for that. And there are tons of other certifications and credentials specific to the functional area that you might be interested in. So if you have more questions about that, feel free to drop a comment below. This next step can be done in parallel with some of the above steps, but I honestly think it works out better if you already go into some of these conversations having some background and having some foundational knowledge about the actual industry. It allows for conversations with much more depth and for you to really be asking the right questions to help understand how you can progress to the next step. And please understand that networking is not meant to be this transactional, self-seeking activity where only you get something out of the relationship. I'm going to go into each one of these conversations like they are the next opportunity you may have for a new job, but also understand that these are just conversations that you're having and getting to know people, and you want to keep this rapport and manage these relationships over time because you never know who could be the person that ends up bringing you for a position years later. This is getting kind of lengthy, so I promise we're going to finish this list in part 3.